channel the energy of the deity. Even the trickster Legba makes an appearance, parading his masculinity while disguised as a woman. As drummers cross into the threshold of trance, dancers begin to defy gravity, elevating to new heights with their voodoo.
And yes, you do go into a trance so you can separate your spirit from the earthly world.
I rendezvoused with my friend Soren Samuel to look into how Western perceptions of the practice had become so incredibly distorted.
How clever would a white man have been in indoctrinating us for centuries? So much so that even me now, the moment I hear the word voodoo, the first thought that comes to my head is evil. It's witchcraft. The Bible had sorcery. Christianity had sorcery. Moses and those other magicians in front of the king who cast their rods and they all turned into snakes, and Moses became a bigger snake and swallowed them. What the hell is that? It's sorcery. Moses splitting that water. Scientifically, it's just impossible.
Notre culture n'est pas autant satanique comme on le dit. Mais pourquoi on s'attaque plus au vaudou alors que les mêmes sacrifices de sang se font dans l'islam et on n'en parle pas?
In the trilogy of books that comprise Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, sacrifice, even human sacrifice, is a common theme. All three books tell the story of Abraham being commanded by God to sacrifice his son Isaac. Christianity is a belief system anchored in sacrifice.
Tous les sacrifices qui se font, par exemple, au niveau du vaudou, les bœufs qu'on immole, les agneaux qu'on immole et tout cela.
And voodoo, rather than sacrificing a human being, you sacrifice an animal.
Et Jésus qui représente l'agneau parfait de Dieu, qui doit venir enlever le péché du monde, a fait ce sacrifice suprême. Alors du moment où ce sacrifice a été fait,
even Yahweh was sacrificed.
Il n'y a plus d'autres sacrifices qui puissent avoir de valeur que le sang que son fils a versé. C'est pour cela que nous n'utilisons plus de sang. L'unique sang du sacrifice, c'est celui du Fils de Dieu.
Sacrifice is a basic principle of religion. It is a way of communicating with God or invisible forces. In voodoo culture, blood sacrifice is the most powerful sacrifice that you can do because blood is supposed to contain the life force of a living being.
Here we sacrifice money to the churches.
For cultures that consciously separate the act of eating meat from the sacrifice of animals, being honest with your ritual can be difficult. It is all in the packaging. Traditional African cultures consider their animals their well. They are in close touch with their cows, chickens, and goats. Their animals have names and will come to them when they are called. Eventually, a treasured animal will be sacrificed and eaten, but not without great respect being given. Every December, diviners or babalawos from all over Benin will consult the Fa to find out what
This is where I was supposed to go in December, but my African mama told me my spirit was not ready, and she was afraid that I would die.
Is the most potent substance that can be offered for the well-being of the gods, the people, and the country.
We use blood sacrifice, which is not evil. Voodoo is not evil. I believe in voodoo. The blood sacrifice is just to give more strength, more power to the shrines.
Nos esprits africains ne veulent pas la chair des animaux, mais ils veulent le sang des animaux pour nous protéger. Ce n'est pas diabolique.
Africa is the richest country or continent in the
The
world,
African spirits might not eat the flesh,
and every
but the
resource
people do. And the shrine is the center of the centrifuge. Blood is ritually offered to the deity, and the deity in return blesses the community with food. Whenever any precious animal is sacrificed, vital protein is released into the population, and nourishment
Protein.
and well-being is shared by all.
which is why they live
We can
over
appreciate
100
this
years
in the United
old.
States on holidays like Thanksgiving, even though the levels of animal consumption between Africa and the West are poles apart. Compared to Benin, the U.S. consumes more than 84 billion pounds of meat annually from over 9 billion slaughtered animals. As you can see, a lot more blood was spilled in the U.S. Again, it's all in the packaging. To explore the full dynamic of public ceremony and the power of sacrifice, we made our way to Savalu, where the remnants of the Egungun were stirring up the local population.
Donc le Egungun n'est pas une représentation pour nous amuser. Le Egungun est un fétiche, un parent de fait que nous adorons. Que les Egungun n'ont pas les mêmes formes, n'ont pas les mêmes costumes. Il y a des hommes blancs, il y a des hommes calmes, il y a des femmes pagailleures. Et si
Tell me if this is not the same thing you see
And there is the gatekeeper
in New
of the
Orleans
Egungun, like
and
an
Mardi
effigy
Gras.
from the shrine that has risen to life, amplifying the history
And you have a
of the
chief
crowd.
si la population était
that leads
en
Mardi
joie,
Gras.
parce qu'ils savent qu'avec cette sortie-là, tous les petits problèmes que j'ai dans ma maison, toutes les difficultés que je rencontre dans ma vie, il amène tout, il doit partir avec tout. C'est dans ce sang, dans le bain de sang, qu'il chasse les mauvais esprits. C'est comme ça, lui, on lui donne à manger. Je ne sais pas exactement comment j'étais. Je ne peux pas expliquer ce qui se passe. Là où je suis, je ne comprends pas.
Americans consume the most blood from an animal.
After the exorcism of evil spirits by the Egungun in Savalu, we journeyed back down to the coast to Grand Popo, where Mamiwata, the goddess of the ocean, protects her children. Mamiwata is the mother of all living things, and we looked forward to being nurtured with her life-giving presence.
I hope that this video invokes in African American people just how disconnected we are with our natural.
The artifice made the ceremony feel more contrived compared to the raw ceremonies of the interior.
They beat it out of us.
Everything was performed in a lackluster fashion.
Just watch
But this was
Roots
just
again.
one element of the Mamiwata ceremony, the prelude to a more vital connection with the deity. We made a short pilgrimage to the lagoon and mounted a small flotilla to the outlying beach.
We were forbidden to speak our natural tongue,
Some of the adepts were already slipping into trance as we crossed the water.
and that song, Sweet Home, Sweet Chariot, coming back to taking me home, they were singing. that the
Continuing
gods
to the
take
ocean,
them back
the
home.
adepts made a short detour to the shrine of another supernatural force in Benin.
It was not a
The
religious
shrine of the
song.
Zambeta. Although the Zambeta are not official members of the Voodoo pantheon of gods, they are woven into the fabric of every village, acting as a supernatural security force. When the Zambeta observe any transgression in society, dues must be paid. We didn't know it yet, but the Zambeta had muscle in Grandpopo, and they would flex it before we left. At Seaside, Mamiwata's children were now completely in their element.
And if you want to really
The voice of the ocean called out
study
one of the adepts,
study the North Carolina,
and she
the
was
Geechees. The last African tribe that held on to their rituals. What does the Catholic Church do? Exorcism.
While the adept was being brought back to solid ground, our crew was entering deeper water. Tolo, our drone camera operator, had crossed an invisible line when he shot the Zambeta shrine on the beach. To avenge this offense, a member of the Zambeta cadre tried to take justice into his own hands. The blow-up was eventually quelled by an elder Mamiwata priest, but more complications were brewing. Word spread that we were neglecting the Zambeta clan back in the village. When we returned, the Zambeta blocked the road leading out of the square and initiated a full-blown public performance. This time, we were forced to pay attention and pay a few dues. Balances were restored, and we all danced and danced.
Balance.
In Grandpopo, we experienced some of the
Energy.
tension of crossing forbidden lines in Voodoo. These lines are flexible, and they bend to accommodate society.